You're listening to part 2 of a Dear Applicants podcast episode. Check out last week's episode to listen to part 1 of this interview. Outside of academics, though, since I know you have a boxing match to run to after this interview, what were you? I know what you were involved in.
Yeah.
There were a ton of activities that you were. I think that you were participating in, or not just participating but leading. What were the most memorable to you?
From college?
Yeah.
Ooh. I think, I have the tattoo on my arm, so that should tell you something. I have to show to the audience.
Why are you showing it to me? I've seen it.
There's a tattoo on my arm. I did this in 4th year. The organization was called Space. I co-ran with one of my good friends. It was a dialogue space where we'd invite folks who were interested to speak about gender and other taboo topics around sex, sexuality, power, gender. So topics around those areas, and we'd have personal conversations, because I think a lot of what we were doing in our classroom was very academically, intellectually driven. But at some point I felt that there was no intentional space on campus where folks could share how they relate to these academic concepts personally.
More emotional level.
More emotional, more
rational,
interpersonal level, rather than, the very right brain thinking. So that was definitely the highlight of kind of ideating the whole concept, actually executing it, and then seeing it grow, build a full team of folks who wanted to facilitate, who wanted to idea. That was really fulfilling. I thought I was going to go down that route professionally, but then things did not work out because of visa stuff in Singapore. Long gone now. I might return to it though, we'll see. So that was really important. I think definitely another highlight of my college life was I was part of the Bhangra team for all 4 years.
Hell yeah.
My only form of exercise for 4 years was Bhangra. And I used to love the end of semester showcases because we would wear these bright...
Oh yeah, they were gorgeous.
In
oddly Yale-NUS-esque colors.
Yes. I sourced them. So I would get them made. Yeah. So the orange and blue, I would get them made in India. And then we would get a shipment every year or whenever the costumes would be old. So it was actually made from the land of the dance. Very, very significant. Significant for me. That was a highlight. Made some of my longest lasting friends.
Maintaining the culture.
The culture, even in Singapore. Oh, yes. So that was really important for me. I had a lot of fun. So that was just pure sheer fun every week. That was important. I was I was an RCA, a residential college advisor.
Oh, yes.
In my 4th year.
Oh, yeah, that was when I was in OGL.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Very fulfilling. In fact, I think it was the RCA job, doing that job in my 4th year that set me up for my first job as an admissions consultant in the work world outside of Yale-NUS.
And why do you say that?
Well, because when I was working as an RCA, I found a lot of meaning and fulfillment in working one-on-one with folks who were slightly younger than me. So we're not talking about, I wanted to work with kids. I don't think I could, I can't handle them for more than maybe 30 minutes. But I was okay, folks who are just slightly younger than me, are going through things that I have recently gone through. I can support them in assimilating into the Yale-NUS environment, because Yale-NUS was so close to my heart, still is. I just realized I wanted to work with folks one-on-one, right? And then in Singapore, of course, the easiest way to do that would have been going through the admissions consulting route, because that would allow me to work with high school students who were maybe 4 or 5 years younger to me, not more than that. And I would help them navigate a process that I had just recently navigated. So yeah, that was the reason I started kind of applying for these jobs. I actually worked for one, and then I moved into client advising at IvyPrep. So kind of more business side of things.
So I guess 2 questions over there. What was that experience like actually working with students? How did you, because the admissions, yes, I think you've always been involved in community-focused work or individual-focused work, other individuals, that is, and of course, building teams as well.
Yeah.
So I guess my first question would be, you had no experience with the admission space, right? So what was breaking into that like?
No.
And what was your experience working with students, getting them into these dream schools that they wanted to go to?
A lot of common sense and empathy.
Okay.
Coupled with good writing. I think that's how I would say it. I don't think I think good admissions consulting is good coaching. That's how I see it. You take a student who is very raw, who has all these dreams and aspirations and has done a bunch of stuff the last few years of high school, but really doesn't know how to make sense of it. Should I go to a liberal arts school? Should I go to a research school? Will I be better off in the US? Will I be better off in the UK, right?
Well, why is coaching even needed? As long as you have good grades, straight A's, anything can, right?
This is a trick question, isn't it? You're playing that card with me now. I'm not going to get tricked, Jonty. I trained you. Do not speak like that to your boss. Just kidding. It's important. I think.
I guess why is it's really important, right? For people to understand why having someone, whether it's a family member, whether it's any sort of mentor, external or within the family's network, to guide someone and mentor them through the process.
Yeah.
Because it is more than just numbers.
It's more than just numbers, and it's more than just writing a personal statement or writing a Common App personal essay. I think that whole journey of getting to what is my Common App personal essay going to be about? How am I going to write the story is very rewarding, very fulfilling. But I think when you're 16, 17, you do require, well, not all of them. I think some of the kids I've met far, far, far beyond their years. But generally, I felt that students could use some form of guidance in framing their own life experiences. So you don't necessarily tell them what to do. You just help them, you facilitate their thinking into giving their abstract ideas some kind of shape and form that can be presented in the form of an essay and then an interview if needed, right? I think that's how I saw my work as an admissions consultant when I was doing it. Really enjoyed it. But like I said, I get bored easily. I learned very quickly that my personal growth would hit a ceiling very quickly because I wasn't necessarily learning anything that I did not already know. I was applying the skills that I had. So very quickly into it, I realized I wanted a new challenge. So that's when I shifted teams within the same industry and joined IvyPrep.
Advising team here, yeah.
Join IvyPrep.
Oh, well, you built the client advising team here, right? Not join.
Well, if I had you to build it, how could I not build a great team, Jonathan? My first team member.
Oh, yeah.
You were the first person in the team after I was promoted.
Number 2.
Always number 2.
Before we continue, I would like to take a quick break to remind you to subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review on your favorite platform. Your feedback helps us improve and to reach a wider audience to provide further insight into this arduous journey. Also, if you have any questions or suggestions for future episodes, feel free to email us at our email linked in the description below. We'd love to hear from you. So what's your time at IvyPrep been like?
Oh, well, today's my last day, so it's
Oh, you'll be missed.
It's funny you're asking me this question now.
It's okay to cry.
I'm not gonna cry.
It's okay to cry.
I've cried the whole weekend. I can't. Not on camera. No. IvyPrep. I joined it at a very uncertain time when there was a new management. There were still discussions of what the vision is going to be. What do we want the company to look like? What direction do we want to take it in? So I think what was really exciting for me, as you can tell from my history of sort of building teams or doing really challenging projects, was we don't know what we are doing right now, but let's figure it out together. I think that's what my IvyPrep experience has been like. Getting to work with incredible people. I think IvyPrep, touch wood, I will always, everyone in this room right now, I think IvyPrep has done a fantastic job at attracting incredibly brilliant, but incredibly humble people. I think everyone at IvyPrep is like that. So yes, I think from a more professional side, I got to build so much here. Co-build, I wouldn't say build. I got to co-build so much. I developed relationships with my colleagues that feel more like friendships than professional relationships. And the fact that, I said this yesterday, I have felt that at IvyPrep, I could show up as my authentic self, which sounds really like BuzzFeedy, but if I'm having a bad day, I know I can show up to work and not have to pretend like everything is rainbows and unicorns. I can tell my colleagues I need some time off and they'll understand. But at the same time, if it's like great day, great momentum, let's build this together, and then everyone's like, yeah, let's do it. So I think IvyPrep's been great. Roller coaster ride, certainly. But just this whole, I've been lucky. I think I've been really lucky that I got to build what I got to build at IvyPrep. It's been very rewarding.
And speaking of sort of you looking for new challenges, what comes next? I know you're going to be in Singapore for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And the long-term goal is likely to be grad school.
Yeah.
But in the interregnum,
yeah.
What are you going to be doing? Well, I know what you're going to be doing, but what do you...
Is this relevant to the podcast?
Well, it's relevant to your life, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is what the point of this particular episode is. I mean...
Well, okay, sure.
I mean, we could go on and on about college, but...
Okay.
What are you doing in life? I guess if you want to keep it more on point, and I know it's still decision-making time, but what would you want to be doing at grad school? Or what is the... And I know that it's hard for you to have a long-term plan because you're someone who is attracted by so many different things and may very well switch pathways. So what's the short to medium-term plan?
Well, I think the short-term plan is to learn yoga professionally.
Thank you. I was fishing for that.
Yes, you're welcome. I think that's the plan. I think about 8 years of my life since I moved to college and then have been working in the work world have been really about the mind. It's really been about intellectual challenges. But I think I'm at that age, I'm not that old, but still, I feel like I'm at that age where I want to explore what training the body holistically could feel like. Yeah, I think the plan is to explore, is to go beyond the development of the mind, the development of the body and the spirit.
I mean, which you've already been doing in the form of boxing, right?
Yeah. Boxing has been life-changing for me.
So it's a sort of break to focus on yourself, but also plot what the next steps are.
Correct.
And I guess you have a year, right, before you're due to go anywhere.
More than that, 1.5 years before any grad school programs will actually start.
This break,
1.5 years.
It's 8 years since you come to Singapore.
Yeah.
You've been working for quite a few now, 3 with IvyPrep.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big proponent of mini retirements. I'm a huge proponent. I think
You've become a retiree.
This is my
Auntie
mini
Pragya.
retirement. Auntie Pragya, mini retirement. She's going to be doing yoga. She's going to be making a chai. She's going to be living near where she can go on hikes every other day. But then I also know, here's the thing, I also know that what I'm stepping into has an expiry date because I am somebody who cannot live without work. So... I'm saying all of these things now. Check back in. Yeah, I'm sorry, but
I'm someone who can't live without work.
I need to be in a team. I need to be like building something. I need to be working on something. So yeah, check back in September. How is my
I will. Well, we're going to be seeing each other in September.
Oh, that's going to be fun. A Chelsea football match.
Yes, we will go
into
for
London.
A Chelsea match.
Let's go.
I hope that they start winning at that point because they are not doing so well.
You know, I don't watch football. I would do this just because you invited me.
You're coming.
And then we'll bring Serene.
Yes, we will take Serene. I would take you for an IPL match, but you live all the way up in
I don't watch sports. Sorry. But I'll come. I'll come
in any case, I am very excited for this.
Thank you.
Sort of the life of a, semi-retired person that you're going to live. And I mean, it's been fantastic. Been having you on the show, of course, but also working with you over the past 3 years. You will be very missed. And thank you very much for everything. And thank you for agreeing to do this as your goodbye to us all. And I think on that note, we will wrap things up. Thank you very much, Pragya. And thank you, students and parents. And join us next time. That's all for today's episode of Dear Applicants. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you found the content valuable and insightful. If you'd like to learn more about our guests or the topics we discussed, be sure to check out our show notes for links and further resources.